So that brings us to our last Rockstar speaker. Harshit, may we have the microphone for Harshit, please?
A loving namaskar to everyone present over here. Let me just share my thoughts on what made me choose this topic to speak on. I got this message that this platform is about creating a better world. And as soon as I heard this, creating a better world, what clicked in my mind is, what does better world mean? I mean, does it mean better infrastructure, better health? What exactly do we mean by better world? And I have seen people coming from various backgrounds and sharing their life with me. They come from influential families. They come from places where they have these facilities, basic facilities. I think a better world for me would mean better mind, better hearts. So that's why I chose this topic to speak on our ability to use wisdom and love. Let me just share my thoughts with you, friends, that as a young man, I recollect my school days. I could not clear my class 12th exams, so I was just struggling, and it was an intense struggle that I was going through when I was in class 12th. And everybody was kind of pointing fingers. This is not good for nothing, what's going to happen to my profession? And I think what worried me the most was my friends are moving ahead of me. What's going to happen? And that made me go through. Fortunately, I got some support from a young gentleman, and he's sitting here. And I went to him and I started sharing my heart with him. And while I was sharing my heart with him, in one of our sessions, I was going through some counseling sessions. He drew one circle on a page and he said, Harshit, this is your circle of control. Let's call it your circle of control. And I want you to put down all the things that come in this circle of control. I said, wow, that's beautiful. So you know what I did? I said, my parents, they come under my control, I can control them. I said, my teachers, my friends, everyone, everyone is in my control. Then he asked me, my dear friend, can they control you? I said, let me think. No, they cannot control me, I can control myself. If you don't allow them to control you, can they control you? I said, well, yeah, they cannot just control me. And what was happening in my life at that time was that, yes, either I was moving out, trying to control things which I cannot control, or I was allowing things to happen to my life which I did not have any control over. I realized that the only thing I had control over was me, my character. What I was trying to do at that time was trying to change my friend's character, my teacher's character, things happening to me. My self-esteem was based on what others were doing to me rather than what I was doing to myself. So I said, okay, wow, I think... And it was a very liberating thought because I don't have to depend on anyone to be happy. My self-esteem is here. Let me work on myself. I started working on myself and, wonderful things happened. Things started falling in place. And I said, now what's in my control is my college studies and let me focus on them. I started focusing on them. And let me do things what I want to do. The great things that I've always wanted to do. So I started focusing over there. Things started changing. And as I grew, I was trained into counseling. I thought this idea should go and reach out to as many people as possible. As I was trained into listening by one of the very good institutions in Dehradun, the Doon Youth Center, Some of the most remarkable thing that happened in my life, I started talking to people. People carry a lot of hurt, a lot of stress. And I decided, I always wanted to join army. But then I worked out why I wanted to join army. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to do something for my country. And so I thought, do I really want to create wars to do something for my country? I can do anything and I can do something good for my country. I decided to get into teaching profession. It was in year 2005, I remember, I entered my teaching profession. Time is up. Okay, I entered my teaching profession. I want to share what happened. There was this girl in my class. I was a class teacher, and this girl was, I could just sense with what's happening. I started listening to her. I started giving her affirmations. And one day when we were talking, this girl gave me the most, what you can say, a paradigm shift in my life. I was talking, and what she used to do, she used to abuse teachers. She could be violently abusive. One day when she was talking, she said, "Sir, when I was very young, and my parents got separated, and my own father tried to rape me, I just walked out." I said, "Oh, how many teachers were there who could really understand that?" What I saw in my teaching profession was that these people were judging her. I mean, for who she was not. I met a boy. He started sharing his heart, and everybody was concerned about him. And he said, "Sir, I carry a lot of stress. How do you deal with your stress?" And he shared something very personal. "I masturbate, I watch pornography, I do so many stuff, but I'm not getting it." "So what's going on?" He said, "Sir, my father comes to my home. There's a lot of domestic violence. He takes out his rifle, sometimes put on my mother's head, sometimes on his own head." Father was going through a lot of anxiousness. And when these things started coming out, I saw changes in behavior. And by wisdom, I wanted to talk about wisdom. By wisdom, I mean going deep into our own self and finding something of substance within. By love, I mean going deep into someone else's self. And when we are able to go deep into someone else's self, we actually live that life for a while. Be that person. And it's an amazing feeling. There cannot be any other joy comparable to when we can put ourselves into the shoes of other person and live. Just a minute, let me conclude. Let me just end. There's a beautiful saying. I just take a lot of inspiration from our scriptures. They talk about love. Love, being loving is like a moon. We see this moon every day. But what we don't see in a moon is taking a lot of sunlight, scorching rays of the sun. What is it giving in return? Calmness. We all have that ability. When and I think a lot of distinguished speakers have said the same thing. We have that ability, that although we may receive scorching rays of the sun and still do something good to the other person. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I feel honored that you have lent a patient hearing. I mean, I'm almost a nobody from Dehradun, and you guys have listened to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harshit. May we have the microphone for Harshit, please, to come up stage. So that was the young Harshit telling us about wisdom. A lot of people don't get that wisdom even at the age of 70, so I'm happy to see that wisdom here. Yes, sir.
First of all, it's very nice that you have come out so vocally and so openly. Yesterday and today we have been listening to a lot of speakers in the august audience here.
Hello.
And we find that the wonderful stories of ego, surpassing the ego and the self-esteem. But I have yet to find out some people here who have come to the stage of self-actualization and institutionalizing themselves. Up to esteem, putting forward, coming away from the ego stage and coming to the self-esteem, and then coming to the self-actualization and institutionalizing your own self. That is very, very important for not only you, people like you, but some other people whom yesterday we have heard and today also. I like to seek your views and Jerry's views on this aspect. That how REX can motivate and assist in terms of such people to come to the stage of self-actualization and institutionalizing themselves per se.
What do you mean by self-actualization? Because it's a very big word. I mean,
it is a higher grade. It is a higher grade of, you see, you cross.
Are you talking about enlightenment? If I'm not, I mean, I don't know.
Beg your pardon?
Self-actualization means, are you talking about enlightenment or, I don't,
you see,
sorry, if I could get clear.
You see, if you would have read Maslow's hierarchy, theory of hierarchy and needs. You see, after this ego and self-esteem, the stage of self-actualization comes up.
Okay. You're
So
talking about that.
it is a higher order need, both of the human being. Before you institutionalize yourself, you write a book. And thousands and millions get inspired by what you do.
Okay, great.
We'll just time out on that.
I feel, sir, that this act of love doesn't need, self-actualization is good. When you can go into yourself and find out what your strengths are, when you can stand on your own feet and don't get overwhelmed by things happening to you from outside. It's an amazing thing, and I've seen a lot of people doing that. When you're able to do that, then you kind of reach automatically. I have seen when you have reached a certain stage, then things start falling in place. Nature gives you ample of opportunities. That means it's almost like catching the fish. You can only put the net, fish will come on its own. So that's my thought on this.
Okay, I think I'll time out on that, and just since you asked my views, I simply say this in a lot of spaces because people don't have that awareness. And I simply ask a simple question: do you really love yourself? And a lot of people think loving themselves is about standing in front of the mirror and checking how fair they are or how dark they are. But when I tell them that can you stay alone with yourself for one day? Because that's when your self-actualization happens, when you can counter your innermost fears. It's that simple, right? There's no rocket science to this. Absolutely. When you can respect yourself, when you can trust yourself. So I hope I've answered your question. It's a very long topic because most people don't know who they are. Any other questions for Harshit? Okay, so I think we'll call it a day before we begin the press conference and the awards. We have a lunch break. May I call on Mehul ji, a young volunteer, a very self-actualized volunteer over here. Mehul, to come and give away the certificate to Harshit. Yeah? Okay. Thank you, Harshit. Thank you, Mehul.